Hey guys, welcome. So for today's video I have my book goals for 2025 and my 25 books to read in 2025. So I have my goals already in my reading journal. So my actual reading goal for this year will not change. It's still gonna be 50. It was 50 last year. It's gonna be 50 this year. I am able to hit the 50 books a year, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Clear out at least 30% of my physical TBR, which means I will have to do a video on my physical TBR and everything, so stay tuned for that. Start going more to the library, only because it's just a 20-25 minute walk from where I am, and by car it's like 10 minutes away from here. So I really want to use it more, try new genres. I'm trying to expand a bit more into new genres. I know what I like and I don't stray off it, so I do want to try new genres. I do enjoy romance, so next one is finish series. I have so many series that I've started and have yet to finish. I have quite a few from 2 years ago at this point that I have yet to finish, so really want to do that. So I want to not buy as many books, so I'm gonna limit myself to, I have to read at least 5 books from my physical TBR in order to get a book, only because I need to be more intentional with the books I buy. And there's some books where I could have gone to the library and read them or checked out the ebook, audiobook or something if I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And that's usually the case where I do buy the books and I'm not sure if I'm gonna like them at the end of the day when I do read them, and I'm like, oh well, it's not my favorite, I don't want to keep it. So I want to be more intentional with the books I buy. That's why I want to use the library, Libby, KU. I have those for a reason, so that's that. Read more fantasy. Last year I didn't dabble a lot into fantasy. I really do want to dabble more into fantasy, since that's one of the genres I enjoy and I want to read more from it. And then my last goal would be consistent with my book journal. And then because I have like my book journal where I logged all the books that I read, but I also have a separate journal where I keep notes on the book I'm reading, where if it's a fantasy book I like to jot down certain things so I remember them, and when I get to the next book I'm not confused, so I have at least a bit of knowledge of what the first book, if I do take a long break from finishing the series. So those are my goals for now. On to my 25 books in 2025. So I'm gonna start off with books that I don't have but I do want to read. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This series has taken a chokehold on everyone, so it's no shock that it's on one of mine. Then we have Conversations on Love. This one I have started it and I enjoy the premise of the book. I've listened to it and I want to get the physical copy so I can annotate it, because there are certain parts where I stop. I'm like, oh, I wish I had my book to annotate, on it because it does give good advice, or it lets you know certain things on certain topics. So then we have Lost and Lassoed. This one is I think the brother and Emmy's friend, if I don't know. Or is it the new one? I don't remember. I'll put a picture, but I'm not sure. But this is continuing on the Rebel Blue Ranch. Then we have Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. So I have been wanting to get in. I've been wanting to read Elsie Silver books, and I feel like starting with her backlist. Little Women. I do want to read more classics. I've only read 2 in high school, so do want to read more classics. And then we got The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. I've been wanting to read this book, but I know it's one of those books where it's gonna take me time to get into, and not only that, it's gonna take time to actually read through it. Then we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I want to get more into fantasy, and this is one of the big ones, one of the big popular books out there. Okay, now on to the big stack I got right here. So we're gonna start off, no particular order. I don't have a set order on how I'm gonna end up reading them. So starting off with The Cruel Prince by Holly Beck. I've been wanting to start this one due to the fact that I want to get into this one, which is The Prison Throne, and apparently in order to read this, you gotta read this. So this one is Sharpen Your Blade, Harden Your Heart. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her sister were stowed away to live in the treacherous high court of the fairies. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there. But many of the faith despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest, wickedest son of the King Fae. To win a place in the court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. So this one I am very excited to read. It's up there on the ones I want to read. This, the only reason why I want to read it, it's because it's been a while since I have, and it's Twilight by Stephanie Myer. Twilight's a classic by now. The Twilight series, the movie franchise is a staple for me when it's gloomy, and I love it. I love it. If you don't know what Twilight is, so basically about 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him I didn't know. There was a part of him and I didn't know how to dominate that part. Might be the thirst for my blood. Third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. This is one. The next one, I'm trying to go through her backlist before I end up reading her newest book, and it's Part of Your World by Amy Jimenez. Like I said, I'm going backwards in this series. From what I remember, this whole little series is a standalone series. So this one is, so we have Alexis and Daniel. Daniel is a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her, and as casual as they come, completely opposites of sophisticated city girl, and yet the chemistry is undeniable. While her ultra wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of world-renowned surgeons, Alexis doesn't need glory or fame. She's fine with being a mere ER doctor. So I'm interested to see this one. And Emily Henry said Jimenez is a true talent. I trust Emily Henry, so I do want to read this. Hopefully soon. We have Wild Love by Elsie. Sliver. Like I said, I do want to read more of her books. So she has been driving him wild for years. The good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild, but mostly the wild that comes with wanting your best friend's little sister and knowing you can't have. So, brother's best friend or best friend's little sister. Then we have, they're part of the same series. Kingdom of the Curse and Kingdom of the Fear by Kerri Maniscalco. I want to finish Kingdom of the Curse, and the only reason why it's taking me so long is because I spoiled myself on the third book, and I know something that happens. Not something that happened. Oh, it is something. I know that something happens, and I'm not really in the mood to read it. So these two, we follow Emilia and Wrath. Wrath is one of the princes of hell, and basically Emilia is trying to find out who killed her sister. She is on a quest of vengeance to see who and kill who killed her. So I love this author so much that I do want to give her next series a try, and it's Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So this one we follow Jax, the King of Hearts, or the Prince of Hearts, the Prince of Hearts, and we follow Evangeline. So apparently Evangeline strikes a deal with him because her first love is getting married. She doesn't want him to get married. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But as soon as Evangeline kisses him, or first promised kiss, she realizes that it's gonna be a dangerous game with him. Next up we have Archer's Voice by Myer. This is another book that I've had for years and years. Not years and years, but I had it for, I want to say 2.5 years already, where I say I'm gonna read it, but I haven't yet to read it. So here I believe Archer is mute. Something happened to him that caused him to be mute. And we have Bree, who comes into town, and she befriends Archer and they become friends, and you see that this is bad because I usually read her books when they come out. But funny story by Emily Henry. I don't know, I think because I didn't really like Happy Place. I thought that I wasn't gonna like this one, but from what they told me, this one goes back to her like book lovers betrayed that. So this, if I remember correctly, so we have Daphne, her fiance, and her fiance's best friend, and then the boyfriend of the best friend. I guess Daphne and the boyfriend, or ex-boyfriend at this point, stay at he lets her stay there because she uprooted her life for her fiance, who ends up realizing he's always been in love with his best friend. What a douche. We have The Spells of Love by Robb. This is what if one little wish changed everything. This, I don't know what it's about. A young woman tries to heal her broken heart by casting a spell to erase her ex from her past, but wakes up in an alternate universe in which she lost more than what she wished for in this witty whimsical friends to lovers debut. Okay, let's bump that up. I want to read this. Very excited to read that one. Then we have the Vampires of El Norte by Isabel. Cañas. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Vampires and vaqueros face off on this Texas-Mexican border in the supernatural western from the author of the Sandia. Ascendia. So the daughter of a rancher in 1840 in Mexico, Nina knows a thing or two about monsters. Her home has long been a threat by tensions of Angelos settlers from the north, but something more sinister lurks in the ranch at night. Something that drains men of blood and leaves them for dead. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a vampire book. I think that's gonna give the gothic vampire vibe, aesthetic. Next up is a series that I don't want to admit that has taken me more than 2 years to complete. Only because I know as soon as I finish, I am gonna want more. And it's A Court, A Ring and Ruin. This one was also spoiled to me, so I'll blame that. But I did get far. I got 160 something pages out of 700. You know what? I shouldn't complain. I read the Crave series. I read Crave one day. Well, I listened to it. And then I read Crush also in a day. So, can't really complain. But Farrah, Rhysand, Tamlin, Lucian, Elaine, Nesta, Castian, Azura. So, I don't think I need to explain what this is about. Everyone should know what it's about. Then we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Yes, I have yet to read it, and it's for a reason. I forget things. That's why I want to get better at writing my thoughts on a journal as I'm reading books. It's the complete black version. No, it's messed up. This also doesn't need an explanation. I mentioned a lot of her books in this. We have Flawless by Elsie Sliver. There's a book that I really want to read because it has a trope that I enjoy. And I want to read it. Flawless by Elsie Sliver. The rules were simple. Keep my hands off his daughter and stay out of trouble. Now I'm stuck with her. There's only one bed, and well, rules are meant to be broken. He's a bull rider. She is his babysitter, I guess. Yeah. But I don't need a goddamn babysitter, especially one with skin tight Jesus, sexy smart, and a mouth that can't stop running. A mouth that can't stop thinking. Another book I want to read. Next up, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Weiss. This has been in a lot of monthly TBRs, and I have yet to read. I love the Nacho series. She has short chapters. I don't know why it's taking me so long to read it, but I do want to read it because I've owned every book for this whole series. I also even own this series, so it's time I step it up and read it. So this secret passages, elaborate riddles, billions of stakes. Avery Grahams has plans for a better future, survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out, but her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune, the only cash. Avery must move into his sprawling mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, the Hawthorne house is occupied by his family that was just disinherited, including the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic boys who grew up with the expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Her apparent Grayson is convinced that Avery is a con woman and is determined to take her down, but her brother Jimenez views her as their grandfather's last hurrah, twisted riddles, a puzzle to be solved, caught in a world of wealth, privilege, and danger around every turn. Avery will have to play the game for herself just to survive. Next up, City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This has taken me so long to start the second book because I did not like the ending of the first book. The ending of the first book was something else, and I did not like it. But I was spoiled that apparently what happens in the first book is not true. So excited. So we have Kerri, Simon, Jace, Isabel, and Alec. And Alec, Isabel, and Jace are shadow hunters. Simon and Clary are, so essentially Simon and Clary go to a teen club there where they see Jace, Isabel, and Alec kill someone. She screams, but apparently no one can see them but her. And when she goes home, she discovers that her mother is missing, and the 3 shadow hunters come and say, hey, like, she was taken by a supernatural being. So yeah. And then the last book in this is Do Your Ways by Rosie Denana. I have yet to finish this, I'll be honest, but there's books of hers that I'm very interested in reading. So here we have Riley Rose has a chance to turn her family's knack of supernatural into a legitimate business when she is hired to break the curse of the infamous Scottish castle used to work alone in her alienated occupation. She's pleasantly surprised to meet a handsome stranger upon arrival until he tries to get her fired. Fresh off a professional scandal, Clark Edward can allow a self-proclaimed curse breaker to turn his last chance of redemption after he fails to get Riley kicked off his service side. He vows to avoid her. Unfortunately for him, she vows to get even. Those are the 25 books in 2025 that I want to read. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time.